Welcome everyone to the Neurodiversity in Literature video series. This session is entitled Suggested Units with Strengths-Based Representations of Neurodiversity. I'm Kerry Cormier.
And I'm Madeline Boehning.
This session is brought to you by the Learning Resource Center Network and NJDOE Office of Special Education Project. The Learning Resource Center Network offers educators, leaders, and families support, services, and professional development. The locations and contact information for the 4 LRC locations is found on this slide. And today's session is brought to you by the LRC-South, which is in the Rowan University's College of Education, James Hall. Our agenda for this video session is to first discuss designing interdisciplinary units, second, talk about universal design for learning considerations, and third, examine suggested books and resources. The norms of the LRC-South: we promote the use of strengths-based language and demonstrating a growth mindset. We engage in solution-oriented discussions with open minds. We reflect on what is shared and seek clarification or support when needed. And we stay focused on the topic, actively listen to one another, and ensure all voices are heard.
So it is our hope that as a result of this video, educators will be able to identify units of study centering books and texts that promote a strength-based understanding of neurodiversity. Okay. So when designing interdisciplinary units that center texts that have strength-based depictions of neurodiversity, it's important to consider the following. First, incorporate first-person nonfiction texts, for example, memoirs or maybe excerpts from memoirs that complement the books that you are reading. Videos, you can also include videos or text defining, explaining neurodiversity. Another option would be to include first-person explanations of neurodivergent traits. For example, maybe an explanation of stimming or sensory needs. And also including artwork and poems created by neurodivergent artists and writers.
And so as we're presenting our interdisciplinary units and all of these resources that we might be including, we want to be mindful of universal design for learning. And that is a framework that's going to help all students, but especially our neurodivergent students in the classroom. And again, it benefits everyone. So as you're designing your interdisciplinary units, we encourage you to keep in mind the idea of using multiple means of representation. So you're using audiobooks and videos along with written texts, and you are encouraging students to try a variety of different materials to support their understanding. You're also going to consider multiple means of engagement. So providing students a choice in how they work, where they work, what they're reading, how they're reading it. Perhaps they'd like to use the audiobook to support their reading, or maybe they only want to have the written text, or maybe they want to use a video and an audiobook. And again, they have a say and have a choice in how they learn because they're going to know what's best for them. And we support them in exploring those choices. And we also want to use multiple means of expression. And so as students are telling us about the books that they're reading or the videos that they're watching, we're going to allow them to show their understanding in a variety of ways. They can present a poster, a presentation, write an essay, have a visual or a drawing, maybe even record their own podcast. And so by allowing them multiple ways of engaging with the content, of having a variety of content from various media sources, and allowing students to show what they know in ways that are authentic and meaningful for them, will help them engage more deeply with the content and also help you as an educator to allow them to show their strengths to you as well. All right, so we'd like to share an example of a middle grade book pairing in an interdisciplinary unit and some resources that you might use and incorporate to explore the novel that you're reading in class. So the strengths-based novel that we've selected here as an example is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. It's a fabulous middle grade book that centers an autistic teenage girl who had just learned about the witch trials in the 1700s and has a sense of justice and wants to bring some justice to some of the victims of the witch trials in her town. And it takes place in Scotland. And so, as you're reading this book, a complementary nonfiction text that you might include is a memoir, The Reason I Jump by Naoki Higashida, which again, you can use to kind of support the students' reading of A Kind of Spark and understanding the characters in that novel. You can also pull in some video resources, again, universally designing. So pulling in some video resources from the Ask an Autistic YouTube channel, where Amethyst Straber does a fabulous job about explaining autism from the autistic perspective. Some suggested videos you might want to explore are what is autism, what is neurodiversity, what is autistic burnout, and what is passing. And these are all some of the topics that would come up in the novel, so it'll help students' understanding of those experiences. And also encouraging the use of children's books. They are fabulous books that really take these complex topics and break it down into a very simplistic or more simplistic presentation, and helps our understanding. And so we suggest the children's book here, Wiggles, Stomps, and Squeezes Calm My Jitters Down by Lindsay Rowe Parker, illustrated by Rebecca Burgess. You can also bring in some artwork by an autistic artist. We recommend Stephen Wiltshire's drawing of the Tower of London. Again, the novel A Kind of Spark takes place in Scotland, and Stephen Wiltshire's drawings of many different cityscapes are absolutely phenomenal. But it's a great visual to kind of bring in and support students' reading. And then some strengths-based history to take, again, that interdisciplinary approach. You can bring in some of the biographies highlighted in the book Rebel Girls Celebrate Neurodiversity, 25 Tales of Creative Thinkers. And so again, by pulling in all of these different resources, we hope to help strengthen our students' understanding of the novel A Kind of Spark, and again, presenting them in a universally designed way, and that students can engage with them in a way that makes sense for them, and also show what they know in a variety of different ways as well.
So the next one is a young adult novel book pairing, and we have found another strength-based depiction of neurodivergence in the book Afrotistic by Kayla Allen Omeza. And this is a wonderful book about a Black autistic teenager in high school who is determined to become on the dean's list, and she wants to be recognized in that way. And part of that, she has to exhibit some leadership. So she decides to start a group for autistic students in her district. And so she starts the group, and she really finds a community among the autistic individuals. And since she is relatively new to the school herself, she also finds that she really enjoys meeting with the other autistic students, and it becomes less about her trying to get the award and more about her understanding more about her own identity and her community. So with that, it would be helpful to pair a nonfiction memoir, Diary of a Young Naturalist by Darren McNulty. And this is also a wonderful book, so even taking sections of it would be a wonderful pairing. In this one, Dara talks about his love of nature and just really goes into depth about nature and everything about it. And it's really his passion area. And he describes how being in nature just helps him move through life. In terms of video resources, we suggest the BBC's Newsround video, What is Neurodiversity? And that, again, would be a wonderful pairing with this book. And again, a children's book, because like we said before, children's books work for all ages. Benji, The Bad Day and Me by Sally J. Pla, and illustrated by Ken Min, it would be a helpful one as well. And then artwork, the soundtrack from the play How to Dance in Ohio, which was on Broadway and sadly is not on Broadway anymore, but there is a wealth of resources on the website related to that particular musical. And finally, the strength-based view of history. You could include selected biographies from Just Like Me by Louis Gooding, or Steve Silverman's TED Talk on the forgotten history of autism. So all of these would work really well together if you chose to, either within themselves or if you chose to study aphoristic with students. In terms of our key takeaways, we want you to consider that literary units that center strength-based depictions of neurodivergent characters should strive to be interdisciplinary to meet a wide range of students' interests. Units should also strive to be universally designed to meet a variety of learning needs and to help everyone feel represented and to be able to access those resources. And suggested units incorporate texts and media created by neurodivergent writers, artists, and content creators. Thank you so much for joining us today. And in this series, we have provided here links and resources to some of what is available through the Learning Resource Center network. We also encourage you to connect with the LRC-South through our various social media that is listed here. And please consider visiting the New Jersey Department of Education's website for additional resources and support. Thank you so much for joining us.